what's amazing is the canyon you can't see from outside. You can on the edges you can't see anything in here, but when you're in the canyon you can't see anything outside. But
yeah,
that's why it's good we're making this trip. It may be a little much for some people to make this walk. I don't know. What do you? There's not much. Where you go? Apparently, this carbon includes carbon. According to the geologists, they can actually start dating some of this stuff.
Can you say that again, Jim? What
they
was
say
that?
they can date based on this carbon
materials. Yep. So,
carbon materials in here.
So
Great.
apparently, Jim Lancaster can. Professor Douglas.
We have a pipe here that
Look at the pipe that was once totally buried.
this pipe was once buried.
Is out of the ground.
Do we know what kind of pipe that is?
No, it's
The drainage
exposed.
pipe, obviously. This is out. Yep. So the tree has held some of this, and it's just eroding down below. And
So this is a functional pipe still. Water still goes through
Yeah,
this
water still goes
and
through that.
still gets sent down into our where we already were.
Exactly. We're in RTV.
Yeah, right above us.
Do you know how long we've been in RTV?
Below the power lines.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so now we're on our territory.
The power lines are kind of the line of demarcation here. The county park is on the other side. That's the Friendship Park. And just off to the edge is where the Tarapaca Street, there's some homes developed. And on the, I guess the northwesterly side is the switchbacks. That's a lot of undeveloped property, but it is the major access point. One of very few, I think about 4 access points. Now this thing's in the way because we moved it right here. This actually changed.
Jim is noting, in case we didn't hear that, that just last week he didn't have to go around this plant that he's going around right now.
Long ago that the trains have moved.
Like the licorice plant leaning over like that. So that means, yeah, those plants are fast growing, right? So
As I step on it.
Yeah, that's
just look at Councilman Long's steps. So tell me, Jim, what are we noticing by this?
These are old landslide remnants from the South Shore's landslide. And all that binds them is kind of a stiffening over time that has held these broken materials together. It's laid in here for so many years. But this is what supports your switchbacks. And you're not far away from those switchbacks. If you were to walk up,
Look at that.
Yep,
Look at how everything trembles when I
Yes,
just hit.
it's ready
I'm
to
not
go.
hitting very hard.
it's ready to go.
You see the whole, yeah, that whole area is shaking.
Yeah.
It's all loose.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to do any more.
That's kind of how I felt.
That's probably 5 years. That could be 5 years worth right there, but
Well,
no.
maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, for this, that maybe is all it is.
Yeah.
And again, where we are right now is 86 feet from the road, so we're, yeah.
We're close. We're real close. So it's a little stiffer. So look at the big rocks where you come loose. You don't even want to knock this loose because it probably could fall down and hurt us. These are ready to go. These rock ledges
Yeah.
ready to fall in. It's like just stiffened mud right here. It wouldn't take much. So your channel here now you can touch. The canyon's only about 2.5 feet wide right here.
And as we venture up, it looks like that's what we're going to be working with for a
Well,
while.
It varies, but you can see how it's becoming narrower and more fast moving. So the same volume of water is here as down below, but here it's going to be doing more damage faster.
Great, thanks. After you.
No, after you.
We got the stream bed here, but it's going down the canyon. Before we're talking about undercutting, but you can see not only do we have the erosion that's just generally occurring in a line, but you actually have a deflection point in the stream path. So the canyon flow that's going at an accelerated rate is hitting right at this corner. And I hate to tap this one too hard because it might fall down on us.
So we have the water coming up from these 2 points.
Right down the canyon.
Right down there.
Yeah. You
And
can
it's
see erosion occurring there.
being deterred here where there's no defined circle for it, and it pounds against this wall.
That's what's going right on up. You know, the good news is this, the good news is, we think, is that because it's such a narrow feature, we could clean up this bottom, add material for bedding, and provide a good pipe zone.
So because of the narrowness, it makes it, the water's going to go into that pipe a lot easier.
Well, we think we could shape the bottom without that much imported earth. We'd have to import materials in here to fill it. Look at the canyon wall here. Now this, you can actually stand in the canyon, is actually cutting under. You're actually standing under a bit of a shelf right here. So it's not even vertical. It's actually it's actually worse than vertical.
Yeah, it's carved itself out.
Yep.
A hole here,
So
right?
it's ready to fall in.
Now where are we now?
Well, look at how the void's actually now. Look, are you right?
Yep.
Look at the cut occurring.
Tricky to get over that.
Yeah, but it's as this kind of artificially narrows the canyon. Look at how it increased, even on the erosion feature that's here. You can see as this, what we were talking about, Mark, the area has been artificially blocked by this littered pipe. You can see that the stacked mud has constrained the canyon, and so the erosional cut is showing more severe even in this location. There's still a distance forward that you can go, but you can still see, I think, slightly dramatic vertical cuts all along there.
Yeah.
And what I think you were talking about is filling this in, putting a drainage system. We think we could fill it in and get rid of a lot of this problem. Cap the drainage. You can see there's quite a bit of erosional cut. We're going to find this becomes a little messy. We can go up a distance further, and I'll leave it to you, Councilman, if you want to go further forward. There are some bees in this area. And I'm going to say the canyon is basically 6 feet wide, and there's pieces that are narrower and wider, but your canyon is basically 6 feet wide, you know, and not quite vertical slopes, but pretty close to vertical slopes. And I would say your top of slope is probably in the range of 30 feet up.
And there are plenty of mosquitoes here too, in case you haven't noticed.
Look at those little creatures. But more, I think you just see the same problem continue. There's a point where it does widen out, becomes a more stable zone.
Further up above.
Yeah, and that's where we think you could phase the project and basically correct the problems that are occurring that you've seen. Because it hasn't been fully evaluated, we don't have all the solutions at this point. We just got to look at what we think.